Three stats, can you help me out?
30 hours.
Yeah. This type of shit you just ride out to.
What is the deal, beautiful people? It's your boy Ramon, Lifestyles Defined. Welcome to another episode of AMA. How this works is you ask your question in the comment section below, and we will get to it in upcoming videos. Today's question comes from the homie, a longtime viewer, 3165 D Wayne, and he says, question, given Windows Phone's current position in the market, do you think that Sony should have really went with Windows Phone? So, thank you for your question, sir. I held on to this question for quite some time because I wanted to wait until MWC to see what Sony did. And, I mean, my hunch was right. And I always thought, I've said a few times here on the channel, that, one, I really do like Sony. I feel like it's a very capable company and one of the few companies that can really push and drive with true innovation. And two, I think it was such a sad thing to see Sony stripped away from the Windows ecosystem one by one. And I'm not only talking about the phones, right? I'm talking about the Vaio brand. And I used to love Vaios, and man, these guys were making Ultrabooks before people knew what an Ultrabook was, right? Before the phrase was coined by Intel or conceptualized, whatever you want to say. And it was just like, damn, we lost Sony. And Sony, in my mind, is one of the few companies, or used to be one of the few companies, that could rival Apple in the department of sheer beauty of devices. They had that very same gift, and it was just sad to see what happened. And yeah, I always said that in the Android C, Sony just never really stood out, and they never got the recognition that they deserve. And sure, there's Sony fans out there, blah blah blah, but it's not enough, right? And one of the things I often talk about in the ignorant gamers conversation, the fanboy war between PlayStation and Xbox, and it's sad to see that a lot of these diehard PlayStation dudes own Sony nothing. And it's like, guys, you are the reason why this company's struggling. You're just not supporting the shit, man. So yeah, they're in their own fucking world here. But in terms of your question, it's after MWC and getting a look at the Xperia X, the XA, and the X Performance, terrible names by the way. After getting a look at those, I feel like those phones would have been so much better in a Windows Phone world, because there are premium phones, yes, and they are cutting edge specs, yes, and they do have some great features to boot. But the problem is, you put it up against a Galaxy S7, it's finished. It doesn't even matter. You put it up against something like the one of those Huawei phones that are coming out, or even something from yesterday like a Nexus 6P, or even a Galaxy S6 Edge. It doesn't get it, right? But if it existed in the Windows world, where you just got that Lumia, the 950 or the 950 XL, which are not stunning designs by any measure, but they're there. That's the staple, that's the gold standard. And then you got a HP over here moving mountains with the X3. And then you could have something like just straight up elegant and undeniably beautiful, like the X Performance, and it would be such a match made in heaven. So yeah, as a Windows fan, a Windows fanboy, let me get that clear. I feel like it's a tough thing to watch Sony go on so many different levels, man. And it's also fairly tough to watch them struggle, because I'm not the biggest Sony fan, but I do admire them a lot, man. That company has a lot of clout and a lot of power, and it really sucks to see what's happening with them, where if you were a gamer, you'd swear Sony's killing shit out here, until you realize they haven't turned a profit in like 10 years. It's just like, they shouldn't be struggling like this. Like, Sony's done way too much for technology and Consumerville to be struggling like this, and it's just sad to see that they can't get it together. But it is what it is. Thank you for your question, sir. Make sure you like the video if you like it, and subscribe. We got plenty more coming. Quick note before I get out of here. Lifestyles Defined is coming up on our 4th year in existence in April. And we always celebrate by having a party because there's a lot of people involved and a lot of hard work. And there's so many levels to this, right? Even if you talk about ignorant gamers and how we have a very good presence on Instagram and blah, blah, blah. A lot of you guys already know the spiel. Now, we went ahead and had a design, or I came up with a design actually, for what I'm calling the LD Love Collection. You should see that right now. You can get the link on the website. When you hit the website, it's at the top right. You can get it on our Facebook page. You can get it on our Instagram. Twitter, not so much. Twitter moves a mile a minute. So the idea here is a lot of the profit from these t-shirts, these hoodies, if you think it's dope enough, and we'd be honored if you do think it's dope enough and something you would actually wear, it goes toward not the party but the general maintenance of the channel, and we've been fighting to get our budget up and get our resources together so we can get more things, more phones to review, tablets, laptops, all of that stuff. So this is us putting stuff in motion, and we would really appreciate your support. And the way you do so is by heading to the link and checking out the merch and letting me know if you like it, and hit that buy button if you really like it. And even if you don't like it, just leave a comment below. Let us know how you feel about it. If any feedback you have on it, any things you would like us to do in the future, any ideas you got. Dopeness. I'm out of here. Peace.
From the deep forest into the sun.